If you've seen that new Fantastic Four trailer, stick around because I want to talk details. Friends, welcome back to another John's Comics with Kids discussion trailer breakdown. I really have enjoyed doing these. We did it for the Superman one last time. I try to do a short for you guys so you can get like quick, immediate thoughts, but I love taking the time to do a little bit of breakdown and get into some nitty gritty. I got to kick it off though with our man Galactus. This was a really great treat. Both of these shots really well executed. And I want to point out some of the cool landscape that we see in this upper city shot. A lot of people are like, oh, this takes place in the 60s. It's just kind of weird. Why don't they talk a little bit about the Fantastic Four in the Avengers? Like they should have existed in the same timeline. Sounds like this is an alternate universe. And if you look closely, you'll see some very strange buildings that don't make sense in 1960s New York. So likelihood is that this is an alternate timeline. Now, how do they bring them into our universe, or are they going to somehow not connect in some way? I mean, these are the interesting things that they leave us to think about. I'm assuming this is going to be a Secret Wars kind of thing, right? Where they bring groups from different timelines and different things together to battle on Battle World, and then whoever survives is part of the MCU ongoing. So there could be a lot of fun twists and turns in the Secret Wars event, depending on how it goes. But for me, yeah, seeing Galactus, I'm very hyped on that. What it will mean for which version of Galactus, which version of the Silver Surfer, which version of his Herald, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of options, a lot of places to go, but I was very hyped on that. Let's also talk about the Baxter building and the design look, which obviously gives me Avengers Tower vibes and feels. I love the design of it, the look of it, but I also feel like it's interesting that it's reminiscent of something that comes in a different universe in a different time. I know a lot of people discussing the similarities between these two buildings and what that can mean. Personally, to me, I think it's just kind of highlighting how Tony, his design was maybe retro because of his connection to his dad, and this was maybe retro in that it's from the 60s. So maybe for me that was just a crossover there. But we also get the Fantastic Four retro car and their retro. I mean, this gives me Tomorrowland vibes from Disneyland, this whole look here. And then, of course, cameo from John Malkovich. Who is he playing? I know a lot of people are having thoughts about who this could be, Mole Man or Red Ghost. I know there's a lot of thoughts going around on that, but I love the look, right? The visual aesthetic that we're getting and all of this is very tight. It's very strong. Personally, I know very little about Red Ghost. I don't know who that character is. I don't know that I've ever seen him in a comic book. I know that the red is supposed to be connected to the fact that he's Russian, like, red is often utilized in that regard. Omega Red, whatever. But like, he's a strange villain that doesn't have a whole lot of play in the books that I've read. So I'm curious if that's the way they're going in that first movie. That seems bold. That's a bold choice, in my opinion. Next, let's take a look at the look of these costumes, right? I dig the costume design. I think it's a cool look. It's a sleek look. You even get a look at them in their spacesuits. I like the retro style. I like the coloring. I think it all kind of works for me. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Where do you feel about the use of the yellow or the white and the blue? Is this a look that works for you? We also get, of course, Herbie and some special effects with the thing there. So I'm just curious on your thoughts. How do you feel like this stuff works for you? Are you enjoying the look? I think the costumes are strong, and the characters look close enough to what we expect from the FF that I'm not thrown off. I know there was a lot of people questioning the casting, and for me, it still works. I know that these are all four talented people. The same way I'd look at the actors they're putting in the Superman movie that's coming out in the same month. I have very little concern. They're all very talented performers, and it's about the writing, right? It's about that script. What are the things they have the actors saying and doing? That's going to be the deal maker and the deal breaker for me. So we will see going forward what that kind of looks like. And I forgot to include Johnny, of course, in that. If you've seen Stranger Things, like in our house, we're big Stranger Things fans. Obviously, we were excited for this casting, but him and as a blonde, it's a new look for us, and we're kind of trying to figure it all out. But yeah, we get this moment with him flying into outer space. I thought some good special effects through that sequence there. We also get a little family time, and I think some of these moments, getting to see the connection between characters, I think that's the only thing I felt was missing from this trailer in a big way. You know, are we getting to see them interacting with each other? The trailer felt short for intentional reasons. And so they were giving us just moments, right? Little moments with Johnny, a little moment with Sue, a little moment with Ben. What makes this and these stories for me really strong is seeing them interacting to each other. And I think that's something we'll probably get in later trailers, but I'm looking forward to it and want more of that. That's the vibe I want to get from an FF story, is that sort of a found family connectivity kind of stuff that really makes them interesting characters that really you relate to and you connect to. I loved seeing Ben in his streetwear. I love this look for Ben. I think it's a common kind of trope in the with using the thing this way. Ben Grimm always sort of wandering around with his trench coat and his fedora, somehow completely blending in as this giant rock man. But I loved seeing that look stand out. One thing I did think, the other thing that bugged me about the trailer was that his voice doesn't change. And I saw a couple people comment on this, that Ben's voice as Ben Grimm and Ben's voice as the Thing are the same. It's not any different. There's no digital touch-ups happening. There's no alteration happening. It does sound very much like there's no difference. I'm curious if that's going to be their way to go all the way to the end, or if there is still sound effects work being done that might change some of that by the time we get to the final result in the movie. But I was expecting some difference. I was expecting something. I don't know quite what I was expecting, a gravelly sound or what have you, but it's not a make or break. But between that and the time with the family together, those were my two things I'm kind of looking for when the final trailer comes along, or the next big trailer. Um, for those of you that saw it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I want to highlight another thing I'm doing currently. I've only read like as far as my reading of the Fantastic Four, I read a little bit of stuff in the 80s. I read a bunch of the first, I would say, I don't know, 60 issues. I've probably read about 2/3 of those. I loved all, of course, the Silver Surfer Galactus stuff, the Black Panther stuff, and the first, 25 issues I've read. I'm not a huge Silver Age fan, so obviously it's the harder stuff to read. I don't like the way they use Sue Storm. I think she's the most interesting of the four, in my opinion, and they really blow it for a long time with her character. However, I am diving now into Jonathan Hickman's run, which I know a lot of people seem to hypothesize that his run combined with his Secret Wars is going to be sort of the blueprint they're really working off of as they go into this next era. So I've been trying to collect these, what they call complete softcover editions. There are four. This is volume one, which I just finished recently and really enjoyed. And then volume two is much bigger, but here it is. So if you're looking to collect these, there are four of them. Ironically, coincidentally, here's volume three. Got some new white costumes and Peter Parker as the Spider-Man there on the front. And it looks like I don't know where Johnny is, but I haven't read it, so it could be something important going on there. And then lastly, the fourth volume in the Fantastic Four by Jonathan Hickman. So this goes all the way through issues 611 plus a 2011 5-issue storyline or 6-issue storyline. So a lot of things to consider there in the Hickman era. And I'm very excited to read those things. You'll probably see some content over the next few months as I sort of work my way through all of that stuff. If there are other runs to consider, I know John Byrne did something of a quintessential run that I've only read a little bit of. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what else I need on my reading list when it comes to Fantastic Four, because it is an area where I haven't read nearly enough. I want to thank my channel members. These are the people that are keeping the lights on around here and helping it make it possible to use StreamYard to the fullest. They are entered into my monthly giveaway, and there's always a trade paperback. There's always some fun X-Men variants and comics that I send out each month. So if you want to be entered, just join the crew here, and you'll get that opportunity to to win each month. I usually do the drawing at the first Saturday of the month on my channel, and you can be there to watch and see who wins. Thanks everybody for hanging out, and I'll catch you again soon.